Hi Deborah, so there are a number of different ways of setting this up. This will kind of depend on what way you're actually sending out your survey. If you're actually going to create a contact list and send out unique links to each person, you can then add an embedded data field to that contact list where you can base a lot of this off of. You wouldn't need to ask for the name, you wouldn't need to ask for their team number, and then we could set up some logic based off of this. But if you're sending out the anonymous link, you can either do it this way by asking, or we could append something onto the end of the link. So just let me know which way you think you're going to be sending this out, and I can kind of dive into a bit more detail. But we have a number of different ways that we can actually just work with the different names for the people in the groups. So what we could do is, the way you actually have this set out is absolutely 100% perfect. So you have it set up broken out into lots of different questions, so 4 different questions, one for each team. And then you just have display logic that if their team number is 1, show them the people from team 1, and so on. The other thing you can do is, because maybe you don't want them to rate themselves, I'm not sure if that's a thing, we could hide using display logic again, these answer choices. Excuse me. The other thing we could do is we could actually have all of these names within one question and then add display logic to each one. So you can actually insert display logic onto these some sort of questions. Maybe not for the multiple or for the constant sum, because it needs to total 100, but you could definitely do it for this one. The other thing is, if you don't really want to apply display logic to each question, we could break the question or the group 1 questions into a block, the group 2 questions into a block, and then set up some display logic and branch logic using our survey flow to show these questions. The only other thing I could think of would be, we could hide your own name from these answer choices here. So for example, if I am Max actually taking the survey, maybe I don't need to justify my choice here, then I can add display logic to this and just say, if question, what is your name? What is your name is not equal to Max, for example. And I can ignore the case so that if they put their name in a capital, then it still counts here, and then this answer choice would be hidden. One thing I do notice is that you don't actually need this skip logic right here, because if the person doesn't actually meet the criteria, they'll just skip down past these questions anyway. Because they can only choose one team, they will only see 2 of these questions, and then they'll skip by the rest of them and will automatically land on the you have finished your peer evaluation. So the skip logic actually isn't necessary here, so that might save you some time if you're to set this up in future. But I think maybe you probably have it set up in the best way possible at the moment. You could, like I say, cut down your workload a little bit by adding all of the names into this one question and then just adding display logic to each answer choice if you wanted to. But the way you have it set up at the moment will work correctly. Just let me know which way you're going to be sending this out, so I can talk through if a contact list might be helpful for these couple of questions here. But other than that, please just let me know if you still need help setting this up or if you have any other questions.